There's something quite soothing about immersing yourself in nature. You could even say it has medicinal properties, but far less clinical. Creative Healing Connections is a not-for-profit that understands this notion completely. Since 1998, they've been offering retreats that benefit the minds, bodies, and spirits of women with cancer and chronic illness and military veterans.
We in the Adirondacks are so isolated. It's a huge region. You think of it the size of the state of Massachusetts, and has a population of what, 130,000? And so for people living with cancer and other chronic diseases, they're scattered. And we created an opportunity for them to come together, learn from each other, new ways of expressing their emotions, using the healing power of nature, and to create a safe space for them. And a lot of women have come through our program over the years. And about 5 years ago, Fran Yardley, myself, and several others wanted to see, would it help women veterans? And we developed a pilot program down at Weowaka Holiday House, and we found it did. And in fact, it was the only program like it in the country. And since then, we've done programs for women spouses. We've done programs from active duty men pre-deployment. We're doing a program in partnership with Homeward Bound for families. And so it's been very gratifying to see that what we have here in the Adirondacks can make a profound difference in the lives of people who are going through some difficult times or who are given so much of themselves in defense of our nation.
What we do is all about helping people get in a better place in life, trying to shed their problems. And it's not about medical healing, it's about healing from inside. And that's very hard to do. And you're purging a lot of your grief or your anger or whatever it may be. And that's what the retreats are all about, trying to make people whole again.
We're basically offering them a safe place to find a new voice, given the kind of difficulties that they're going through. And the Adirondacks is a wonderful place to do that. It offers a spiritual place, and through all of these arts, it's really, we're providing a safe place for these individuals to find themselves again, to find community, to build trust in themselves as well as in new friends and in one another and in the group, so that when they leave, they're strengthened.
Alone, you
The power of nature is undeniable, but it is also the talented storytellers, musicians, and visual artists that have a unique ability to lift the spirits of those in need of healing.
A typical retreat is you have someone like Fran Yardley, who's here this evening. She will lead people in storytelling, and then we have another retreat leader who conducts a class in art. Perhaps you want to work and do some artwork that might help you. There's another one who does singing, and there are walks in the woods if that's your cup of tea. I mean, there is something for everyone.
The first time I went, I thought, oh, this is so cool. I'll get to tell, my stories, and they'll get to listen. And it took me 2 seconds when I was there, when they started spilling out the things that they had no other place to tell, these kinds of stories. And I thought, okay, this is a good time for me to just be quiet and let it roll. So the kinds of stories that I tell now are usually very short, and I really think about them evoking images that women who are struggling with a life-threatening illness, or the women veterans as well, the images that they might evoke for them some of their own images, and then they tell their stories. So the kinds of stories I tell have changed a bit because of that.
And one way the organization ensures that future attendees will be able to tell their stories is by holding events like the one I'm at today, the annual Mad Hatter's Ball. Monies raised from this festive event will go into a scholarship fund so that people who can't afford it will be able to participate in future healing retreats. But why a Mad Hatter's Ball?
The hat obviously has a connotation, because if you're going through chemotherapy for whatever reasons, or medicines and whatnot, many people lose their hair, and they have to resort to something or they don't. Now for a man it's a little different because it's kind of cool, it's natural. For a woman it's not. And so the hat becomes a symbol for all kinds of things. You know, the color, the design, it's a extension of one's personality, or can be. And you realize too, if you've had experience with a loved one or yourself, you've had illness, or you've been a caregiver, that, you know, there's a little craziness, but if you spin it and take the good out of it and be positive and turn some of these things into humor, it's a lot easier to bear.
And those who attend the retreats leave rejuvenated and ready to take on life's challenges.
When I went there, I was just real feeling sickly and depressed and just like worthless, you know, and I'm like, oh God, I don't belong there, da, da, da. But leaving, I was so uplifted. The depression was gone. I felt better. I was smiling, and I was feeling happy, and just I don't want to, peace.
Life, you know, is not fair, and all of us one time or another are going to get hurt one way or another. We can't make those hurts go away, but we can learn how to live with them in a way that they do not control us, that we can put them in a safe place, and that's what we do.
If you have any inclination at all, if you want to spend 2 days in the middle of the glorious fall season in the Adirondacks at Great Camp Sagamore with Hudson Bay blankets on the bed and fires roaring in the stone fireplaces, and have workshops where you play with storytelling, you play with songwriting, you get to tell stories if you want. If you don't, you can just listen. You get to create a communal sculpture and play with your dreams with Wanda Birch. And if you want to do that and maybe go for a canoe ride, maybe this will be the place for you.